Okay, my name is Justin Wilson. My student number is 140106, and my game is Rapture, Day's End. Okay, this is the backstory of the character and the world. The game takes place when the biblical rapture is about to unfold, and it's a real-world first-person zombie survival simulation, and it takes place in Manhattan. All the good people on Earth are sent to heaven through blue beams of light from the sky. The game world is left derelict with most of the world's population now gone. The people who are left turn the world into a violent fight for survival. Most of the remaining people have turned cannibalistic due to no more food being produced. The rest of the survivors, along with yourself, must scavenge derelict buildings and shops for food while fighting off hordes of zombies. These NPCs can be found and teamed up with throughout the stages of the game to introduce a realistic free roam survival experience. The backstory of the character is the player plays as an ex-army veteran who survived in this post-apocalyptic Manhattan after being stranded on Earth for his violent acts in the name of the US Army. Throughout the game, the player is haunted by flashbacks and nightmares of his time in Iraq. This gives the player background as to why the character is stranded on Earth, and also provides a realistic experience of being a retired Army veteran. This is the look and feel of my game. The environment for this top picture on the left, it's obviously a more modern version of that picture with Manhattan streets, but the same kind of feel, like gloomy feel to it. And this is an outside and inside kind of reference to what I want it to be, like open world, free roam, run around the game, looks nice. And then inside, destroyed buildings, come across lots of zombies, and there's lots of jump scares and scary lighting to give it a nice feel. Also, the HUD, I don't want a lot of things crowding the display all the time, so when you reload, your ammo will pop up, and when you get attacked, then your health will pop up, but the rest of the time, there won't be anything on the display. Then this is my character, the reference for the character anyway, and these are the late game enemy characters. They progress from normal looking people into zombie looking characters, and then these are the friendly NPCs that you can find throughout the map. Okay, and then the progression of enemy appearance. The early game enemies look like characters from everyday life that you would expect to see in a real world situation. An enemy like this is unlikely to attack unprovoked, but sometimes must be attacked in order to steal their food or supplies. These enemies populate the city generally during the day, leaving the map emptier at night with only a few zombies around early in the game. Late game enemies, the enemies' appearances change slowly as the game progresses through the chapters, turning from normal everyday looking people into zombie-like characters due to their new cannibalistic tendencies. As enemies get more erratic and violent, the chance of them attacking unprovoked increases drastically. NPC characters. These friendly NPC characters are essential to the game because they are used as a way of explaining the story to the player and help the player understand what is happening throughout the game. These NPC characters are structured to guide the player in the right direction, provide the player with additional objectives and items and weapons, as well as to team up with the player to help fight off zombie hordes in a group. Some NPCs have their own hideout, which can be visited in order to trade, find new objects, or just hang out with a friend. NPC characters, while being essential, cannot be fully trusted. You must remember they are in the same situation as you and will do anything to survive. You have no true friends in the fight for survival. And this is an example of one of the NPCs and interacting with them in his hideout. Then the game progresses through 5 main chapters. Each chapter contains 10 missions or objectives, a boss fight of some kind, as well as plenty of side missions. Once all 5 chapters have been completed, the player can still run around looking for side missions that have not yet been completed and just carry on killing zombies for the fun of killing zombies. And then the tutorial level starts in normal everyday life, allowing the player to learn the controls, how to maneuver the character through the world and interact with objects. At the end of the tutorial level, the Rapture begins. The Rapture, in my version of the Rapture, has 3 stages. The first stage of the Rapture is the grid ascending to heaven. Then the second stage of the Rapture is earthquakes, which happens at the end of chapter 1. And then the third stage of the Rapture is fireballs raining down from the sky, which happens at the end of chapter 2. So the first 2 chapters and the tutorial level represent the 3 stages of the Rapture. So then The first stage of the Rapture, they're sent to heaven, and this leaves the player stranded and confused, having to figure out what is happening. The player meets up with a friendly NPC who explains the biblical Rapture to them. This is where the tutorial level ends and Chapter 1 begins. The tutorial level and Chapters 1 and 2 each represent a stage of the Rapture. At the beginning of Chapter 1, the enemies are still normal humans with very few zombie sightings. As the chapter progresses, more enemies start to become more and more like zombies. By the end of Chapter 1, there are few humans left with an infestation of zombies. The second stage of the Rapture, earthquakes, happen at the end of Chapter 1. The environment in Chapter 2 is the aftermath of the earthquakes, still Manhattan, but with broken buildings and general destruction everywhere. In this chapter, the player is attacked by new enemies, swarms of zombie crows. At the end, along with all the other zombies that have been attacking them. At the end of this chapter, the third stage of the Rapture unfolds, which is fireballs raining down from the sky. Then in Chapter 3, the environment is the aftermath of the fireballs. So there's ash everywhere, which gives the player reduced visibility in the map. Objects are on fire, such as cars and buildings, as well as some of the zombies, which provides a nice environment lighting to give some visibility so that you have some chance of surviving. Inside, however, inside buildings, there's still normal visibility, obviously, because it's inside. New enemies in this chapter are zombie dogs, because they can smell out their prey even with reduced visibility. In this chapter, the player must fight their way to a hospital, because there's a helicopter on the top of the hospital. And Chapter 4 takes place in the hospital, fighting your way through the different levels of the hospital, trying to get to the top, to the helicopter. And then the end of the chapter is when you get to the helicopter and fly off towards Alcatraz, which is just off the coast of Manhattan, which in real life is just off the coast of San Francisco, but it's close enough. Chapter 5 starts as you land on Alcatraz Island, and then the aim of the chapter and the story as a whole is to clear out Alcatraz, because once it's empty, it will be the safest place on Earth to survive a zombie apocalypse. The only problem is Alcatraz is filled with evil people, so not a single person would have ascended. It will be an epic final chapter, fighting your way through the outer prison, deep into maximum security. The deeper into the prison the player goes, the stronger the zombies get. The final boss of the game is a prisoner who is deep in Alcatraz maximum security. Once Alcatraz has been cleared and the chapter has been completed, Alcatraz becomes the player's new hideout, and they can travel back and forth to the cities to search for additional side missions or just keep killing zombies because it's fun. And then the inventory system, as you kill zombies throughout the game, some zombies drop objects such as weapons or items that you can wear. This is an example of the inventory my game only has the helmet, the torso, and 2 weapon slots, gloves and boots. It doesn't have the chain or any of the other stuff. And you can pick up any items throughout the game and store weapons or items that you want to wear in your inventory. And you can also stash them in your hideout, where it has a much bigger stash, so you can keep things for a long time. And then down here on the right, there's the different base items for gloves, boots, torso, and helmets. So the base items would be armor, speed, or strength. Pretty much for all of them, they're slightly changed throughout them. But so as you kill zombies, they'll drop, say, a glove, an armor type glove, which will have a certain percentage of armor, which increases the player's chance to survive. Or they'll drop speed boots, which makes the player move faster. So you can upgrade your player as you play through the game to try and kill zombies and pick up new weapons. And that's it.